Hello, I'm Michelle Kang, Chief Strategy and Innovation Officer at NEYC. I'm here today with Marie Masterson. Marie is the Director of Quality Assessment at the McCormick Center for Early Childhood Leadership and the author of our newest book, Transforming Teaching, Creating Lesson Plans for Child-Centered Learning in Preschool. Here it is. To start off, thank you for sharing your talent and insights with NACI. This is the third book you have written for NACI. What was your inspiration for this book?
Thank you so much for asking. What inspired the book is the work teachers do every day. It really came out of many years of helping teachers write lesson plans. I wanted to show how a lesson plan drives teaching decisions and makes teaching a lot easier. The second inspiration for the book was the shift in the field to child-centered teaching. Most teachers write terrific lesson plans for a large group learning activity, but many do struggle with how to support children during play-based learning. So a great lesson plan helps them make decisions about what to do ahead of time, what to do during teaching, and what to do after teaching. This covers planning, setting up the classroom, asking questions to support higher level thinking, and evaluating children's progress. It also includes having a plan to support vocabulary and content knowledge during free choice play. I hope the book helps teachers find new ideas for meaningful and joyful teaching.
It sounds like a great resource. You start the book with a section titled Celebrating How Children Learn. Was that intentional, and what does that mean to you?
Yes, we really can celebrate how children learn. Their curiosity and drive for learning is amazing. The key is to know them well, to see the classroom through the eyes of the individual child, and to learn from each one. What excites them? What do they want to know? How do they approach problems? What questions do they ask? We celebrate the remarkable insights we gain from listening to and observing them. This happens through observation and through reflective practice. And the first chapter shows exactly how to do this. The book also celebrates children's lives and how to make learning relevant and meaningful to them. Self-agency means that children are personally invested in learning. You can see this when they ask questions or dig right into an activity. They really want to know more. When we know children well, we can teach in ways that build their self-efficacy and their self-agency. This is really the heart of child-centered teaching. We create a safe and happy place for children to learn.
Marie, some readers may be wondering if your book aligns with a particular type of curriculum. Can you share your thoughts on how it can be used to support a wide variety of curriculums?
Yes, that's a very important question. The book aligns with all teaching philosophies and curriculums. This is because the principles for learning in the book support the way children develop and learn. The goal is for each child to engage successfully in meaningful learning. Often in the field, we talk about child-centered or teacher-directed learning, like there is one way or another. But chapter 2 explains that there are 5 approaches to teaching that are matched to the goals for learning. The first approach is child discovery learning. Here, teachers prepare the setting and they are active observers. Their job is to step in only if assistance or materials are needed. You can see this when children are engaged in solitary play or are deeply absorbed in their work. A second approach is child-directed learning, where teachers follow children's lead during play experiences. This is often called guided play. Children are immersed in dramatic play or are engaged in content area play experiences. The third approach is emergent learning, sometimes called project-based learning. Emergent learning can take place during a daily activity or may involve more extended exploration. Children ask questions, explore information, test their ideas, and present what they learn. The fourth approach is teacher-guided learning. This takes place during mini lessons where teachers demonstrate new skills or procedures. They may work with individual children or in small groups to support learning. And the last approach is teacher-directed learning during small or large group activities. This is the area in which teachers have the most experience in lesson planning. For example, during book reading, teachers introduce vocabulary and ask questions about characters or events. The lesson plan examples show how to extend these learning goals into play-based activities. So because these strategies are presented on a continuum, they work perfectly with any philosophy or curriculum.
Thank you, Marie. Will the content in the book help teachers be more intentional in their teaching practices?
Very much so. Lesson planning, by definition, is intentional. It requires teachers to think about themselves, their perspectives, and their skills. They also consider the children, their life experience, and what will be meaningful for them. It also requires them to think about the resources of the classroom, the spaces, the time, the materials, and the kind of interactions that boost learning. Intentionality means that teachers make informed choices and decisions. That is the heart of lesson planning. Also, intentionality is part of reflective practice, really learning how to evaluate what happened, what worked well, how children respond, and what can be adjusted. That aspect of intentional reflection is present throughout the book. There are thought questions at the end of each chapter to support intentional practice.
And that's such a great way to help this book become the pragmatic resource for teachers is there's questions. Marie, what is your favorite part of the book? Is there a particular story from the book that resonates with you?
Well, I really like the sample lesson plans. I think when teachers see the details, they will realize they don't need to start from scratch. They can build on what they're already doing in their classrooms. There are a wide range of topics and examples. For the story, there's a story in the book about children who are scared when they think squirrels are chasing them. One child says he was scared by an ant crawling on his arm. Another child says a moth knocked on her window at night and scared her. And the teacher builds on this wonderful conversation to help the children understand animals and insect behaviors. And that story really shows how children's experiences can be incorporated into lesson planning and into teaching.
Great story. I know you were inspired by the revised DAP position statement when writing this book. Can you describe some of the connections to DAP?
Oh, yes, very much so. I am very excited about the revised DAP statement. It shows how learning can be personal and relevant to each child's life. I've been involved as a contributing author and reviewer for the 4th edition of the book, Developmentally Appropriate Practice in Early Childhood Programs Serving Children from Birth through Age 8. That will be out soon, and I'm so excited for teachers to have that resource. The most inspirational part of this work is empowering children with confidence in themselves and to take pride in their many diversities and ways of being. Children and families can feel like each classroom is a safe place where they belong. In the same way, transforming teaching shows how to create lesson plans that build on the context of children's lives and their relationships, their many diversities, cultures, languages, their families, and their communities. These are all essential for transforming teaching.
Yes, context matters. The book shows how to both plan learning experiences and also adapt for children's interests. Can you share a few examples of this from the book?
Oh, yes, indeed. I spend a lot of time around real children these days with COVID and also observing virtually through my work. And the thing that we notice in the preschool year is that children develop very specific areas of interest. This is when they ask questions about going to the doctor or develop an obsession with dinosaurs, machines, or pirates. When children ask questions, teachers can add books and materials for them to explore. They may be curious about the weather or the construction of the building. There really are endless opportunities to design experiences that build on their curiosities and wonderings. And chapter 6 has a great surveys for talking with families about children's interests. It's really important to include family perspectives when planning lessons.
Thank you, Marie. And I remember a story from my own son's preschool days where the preschool teacher did just that. And at the time, my son was very excited about trains, as as so happened, several other children in the classroom, and there was a wonderful unit that was done on trains that incorporated children's interests. It's wonderful when you see that happen and come alive in the classroom. Is there one piece of advice you would give to educators reading your book?
Yes, it is always critical. It's the most important thing is to see the classroom and see the adults through the eyes of children. We have to understand, what does each experience look like and feel like to each child? When we put ourselves in children's shoes, we develop a way of staying, staying attuned to the children, really sensitive and responsive to them. We need to stay open to new ways of teaching and continue to explore new ways to learn about and from children. This book is really about discovering new ways to be a more joyful, effective teacher. And it is filled with ideas, tips, book lists, ways to build out themes, lesson plan examples, and practical strategies to teach content areas in the pre-K year. It's really about creating a joyful world for children's learning. And I really hope it will be an inspirational guide for teachers as they work with both children and their families.
Marie, thank you for this conversation and giving us insight into your thoughts as you put together this terrific resource for teachers. We hope that it'll help inspire joyful experiences in the classrooms. And thank you to all of us joining us. And I hope you'll visit the NACCE store at naeyc.org/shop to purchase your copy of Transforming Teaching Today. And while you're there, be sure to check out Marie's other NACCE titles. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle.